It's 4 in the morning, and I'm sitting on my buddy's couch. My hands won't stop shaking. I haven't slept in almost 2 days. And in less than 24 hours, my entire life has come crashing down. Yesterday started out ordinary enough. I finished up a plumbing job earlier than expected, packed up, and decided to head home. No reason to think twice about anything. When I pulled into the driveway, I noticed my business partner's truck parked outside. Tyler's been over plenty of times to talk business, so it didn't even register as strange. But the second I stepped inside, I felt it. The air was heavy, thick, like something was terribly wrong. Jessica, my fiancée, was on the couch. Her face was blotchy, her eyes red and swollen like she'd been crying for hours. Tyler sat across from her, staring at his hands, refusing to look me in the eye. That silence, the kind that makes your stomach turn because you know something awful is about to drop, that's what I walked into. Jessica looked up at me and said, "John, we need to talk. I'm pregnant." For a split second, I was over the moon. Pure happiness. I thought, it's earlier than we planned. Sure, but this is great. We'll figure it out. I was smiling, telling her how amazing this was, and then Tyler spoke. "John, it's mine." Everything froze. He started stammering, saying it just happened, a few months back, that they never meant for it to go this far. Jessica was crying harder now, saying she loved me but she was confused, that she didn't know what she wanted anymore. And then, this is what really broke me. They said they wanted us to sit down, the three of us, and figure out how to make it work. Tyler actually thought we could still be business partners and even co-parent this child together. Jessica suggested we take a break from the engagement, but keep living under the same roof while she sorted out her feelings. 4 months. That's how long this has been going on. Exactly 4 months, the same time we signed a $1, $2 million contract, the biggest project our company has ever landed. While I was pulling 12-hour days, busting my back to secure our future, they were sneaking around behind mine. The timeline made me sick. She's about 10 weeks pregnant. That puts it right after Christmas. Right when I was working extra hours to pay for our wedding, for the down payment on our house, for everything we'd dreamed of building together. I told them both to leave. Immediately, Tyler tried his speech about how we're still brothers, as if 4 months of betrayal was just some personal hiccup we could shrug off. Jessica was crying, asking where she was supposed to go, reminding me this was her home too. I didn't care. I couldn't care. I told them both to figure it out somewhere else. Now I'm here, at my friend Jake's place. He's been trying to keep me from spiraling, cracking terrible jokes about laying pipe, just to keep me from driving back there and doing something I'd regret. But the nightmare isn't just my personal life, it's business. Tyler owns 35% of our company. We've got $2 million worth of active contracts. One of our biggest clients even asked specifically for him to handle their account. If I try to push him out, he has every right to sue me for his share. If I don't, I'm stuck seeing the man who blew up my life every single day. Meanwhile, Jessica won't stop texting me. Messages like, "We can work through this as a family. I never meant to hurt you." Tyler sent me a long message about how our business is too important to let personal issues ruin it. And me? I'm just sitting here at 4 a.m., staring at the ceiling, wondering how the two people I trusted most, my partner, my fiancé, could light a match and burn my entire future down. He called it personal stuff. Imagine that. Sleeping with my fiancé, and he brushed it off like it was a minor disagreement between friends. I felt trapped. Couldn't go home without being slapped in the face by reminders of Jessica. Couldn't go to work without Tyler sitting across from me. Couldn't cancel the wedding without flushing tens of thousands down the drain. Couldn't fire him without risking the company I'd spent 6 years building. But then I started digging. Everyone told me the same thing. Get a lawyer. So I did. And let me tell you, best $500 I've ever spent. Because buried in those company books was a bombshell. Tyler had been treating our business account like his personal credit card. Fancy dinners, golf outings, even a so-called networking weekend in Vegas. 23 grand. Gone. And that wasn't the end of it. He'd been pitching himself to clients as a senior partner, downgrading me to just the operations guy. He even went so far as to give one client his personal number and cut me out entirely. This wasn't just betrayal anymore. This was sabotage. My lawyer confirmed what I'd been hoping. Tyler had breached fiduciary duty. Translation: I could dissolve the partnership. I could buy him out, not at some bloated number, but at the value of his shares before our contract's wrapped. About 85 grand instead of 200 plus. Painful, sure, but it meant freedom. Meanwhile, Jessica wouldn't stop blowing up my phone. First, it was apologies. Then it turned into demands. We need to sit down and talk like adults. The last straw was when she texted me, "I'm pregnant and stressed. The least you can do is make sure I have somewhere safe to stay." Jake read it aloud, looked me dead in the eye, and said, "And maybe buy me a push present while you're at it." Here's the only reason I didn't put my fist through a wall. So I drew my line. Yesterday, I served Jessica with a 30-day eviction notice. Colorado law requires it, even if she isn't on the lease. I changed the locks. 2. If she wants her stuff, she can get it with 24 hours notice and a police escort. Tyler tried to corner me at the office the next morning, talking about how we needed to work this out like men. I cut him off instantly, told him his lawyer could talk to mine. The look on his face when I mentioned attorneys, priceless. He really thought I'd roll over and let him wreck both my life and my business. Then came the kicker. I reached out to our biggest client, the $1, $2 million project, told them Tyler was out due to ethical violations, and asked if they still wanted to work with me directly. Their response? Relief. Thank goodness. Tyler always seemed unprofessional. We only dealt with him because we assumed you trusted him. Turns out 3 other clients felt the same. They didn't like his slick salesman act either. They just tolerated it because they wanted my company's work. That was all I needed. I restructured, promoted my lead foreman, Mike, to project manager, hired a proper bookkeeper, and started cutting Tyler out of every corner of the business. My lawyer says we might even void his partnership share completely because of fraud. But honestly, buying him out feels faster and cleaner. Jessica, of course, doubled down. She even showed up at Jake's place one night. He opened the door and, without missing a beat, said, "John isn't available, but you can leave a message with my secretary." Then he pointed to his dog. She was not amused. Now she's claiming she needs $3 grand for pregnancy expenses and that I have obligations as a father. Except here's the thing. I'm not the father. I've been careful. Always. She knows it. She's just gambling okay before demanding a paternity test. My lawyer told me to document everything, just in case she tries to drag me through fraud claims later. And Tyler, he's suddenly playing the noble card, sent me this long, dramatic message about how he's man enough to take responsibility for Jessica and the baby, but still wants us to keep working together like nothing's changed. This man honestly believes he can steal my fiancée and still profit off my company. Jake says it's the greatest revenge story ever told. He has been documenting everything like it's a reality show, complete with commentary. 30 days until eviction. 4 to 5 days until Tyler's out. 60 days until you get your life back. Honestly, that countdown is the only thing keeping me sane. But then, update 2. The war officially started. Jessica's eviction date came and went, and instead of leaving, she decided to burn the place down, metaphorically. She cleaned out my house. TV, sound system, tools, even my grandmother's jewelry from the safe. 25 grand worth of my life, gone. The cops shrugged it off as a civil matter since she'd lived there, and she's claiming everything was either a gift or shared property. But she wasn't done. She and Tyler started calling my clients, spreading lies that I was having a breakdown, that I couldn't finish projects. Tyler told people I'd be making dangerous decisions on job sites. I lost 2 smaller contracts, 4 to 5 grand, because of it. And my biggest client, the $1, $2 million project, they put it on hold. I was livid, ready to lose it, until my attorney smiled and said, "They just handed you a defamation case on a silver platter." Because every text, every call, every loss, it's all documented. And now, it's war. Emails, voicemails, recorded calls. And here's the kicker. Colorado's a one-party consent state, which means every shady word Tyler let slip on a company phone. We've got it all. A full paper trail of sabotage, signed by his own stupidity. And Jessica, she went public, posted on social media about how I abandoned her, pregnant, homeless, the whole sob story. Suddenly her friends, her family, even people I barely knew, were blowing up my phone, calling me heartless. I told her mom one thing. Asked Jessica about the $25,000 and all the stolen property. Haven't heard a word since. Tyler was worse. He started telling people he built the business from the ground up, that I was just a guy swinging a hammer. He even bragged on LinkedIn about launching his own company and invited clients to jump ship. Except he forgot about one little detail, our partnership agreement, that non-compete clause. For 18 months after dissolution, he can't touch our clients. My attorney's already drafting a cease and desist. Meanwhile, Jessica kept playing the pregnancy card, demanding $500 a week for medical expenses, claiming eviction would stress the baby. I told her straight, take it up with Tyler. Here's the dad. And that's when she dropped the bomb. Maybe we should just do a DNA test after the baby's born to be absolutely sure. Even Jake was floored. His words, "Bro, she's trying to keep multiple wallets open. That's next-level scheming." And karma? It didn't wait long. Tyler had been strutting around, bragging about running his new company. But the man doesn't know a thing about operations. One of his new clients called me in a panic. Tyler had promised them work that didn't even meet building codes. When the city rejected their permit, they found out the truth. Only I'm licensed in Colorado. Not him. Now they are threatening to sue him for fraud. And what does Tyler do? He panics. He calls me, begging for help. I thought I'd seen the worst of it. Turns out I was wrong. Last week, I went back to my house for a final walkthrough before Jessica's court-ordered move-out date. My lawyer warned me, never be alone with her. So I brought Mike, my foreman, as a witness. Smart move, because what happened next was insane. Jessica had Tyler over helping her pack. I gave them 5 minutes to grab what they needed and leave. Tyler puffed up, chest out, tried to play tough. Said I couldn't tell him what to do, that he had rights as a father. Then he shoved me. Now, I'm 6'2", built from years of swinging hammers. Tyler, 5'9" on a good day, and his idea of manual labor is lugging a golf bag. I could have flattened him, but I didn't. Hand stayed down. Mike's phone was rolling the whole time. Tyler shoved me again, harder. And that's when Jessica started screaming. He's attacking Tyler. Somebody help. But the video, it showed everything. Me, standing calm as a monk. Tyler, shoving me. And Jessica, whispering to him exactly what to say. They weren't just desperate. They were trying to frame me. 20 minutes later, cops showed up at my office. Tyler had filed an assault report with Jessica as his witness. I handed over Mike's video. Their story collapsed on the spot. Not only did it clear me, it nailed them both, Tyler for assault and filing a false police report, Jessica for conspiracy. That night, Tyler was in handcuffs. Jessica, charged too. Jake nearly cried laughing when I told him. His words, "Bro, they literally tried to frame you and ended up recording themselves committing crimes. This is cartoon villain stuff." And just when I thought it couldn't get better, my accountant finished digging through our books. Tyler had siphoned off $31,000. Personal spending disguised as business expenses. Jessica's yoga membership. Lavish dinners. A weekend in Aspen labeled as networking. He used my company's money to bankroll his affair. Meanwhile, Jessica's eviction hearing came. Her lawyer tried the sympathy play, claimed she was too traumatized by my assault to appear. The judge asked for proof. They admitted the charges were dropped once new evidence came out. I explained Tyler had actually been arrested instead. The judge was not amused. Immediate eviction. 48 hours to clear her stuff or lose it for good. Her parents showed up. Her dad actually pulled me aside and apologized, said they were ashamed of her. Her mom tried to haggle, asked if they could keep some of the expensive things Jessica had taken. I told them flat, everything comes back, or I file theft charges. Most of it returned, though my TV was smashed and some tools were gone. Honestly, small price to finally be rid of them. Then came the call from Tyler's lawyer. With criminal charges hanging over him, a civil claim for the $31,000, and the non-compete violation, Tyler was cornered. His attorney all but begged me to settle. The deal? Tyler signs over his 35% of the company for $1. Jake almost fell off the couch laughing. Take it. Best deal of your life. Watching him explain why he sold out for $1, worth it alone. My attorney agreed. Cleanest, fastest way to end it. Tyler's still drowning in his own mess. Jessica's gone silent, holed up with her parents, who are furious about the pregnancy and her legal troubles. And Tyler? He sent me one last message. Just 6 words that almost made me laugh out loud. John, please, I know I messed up. Tyler thought he could still bargain his way out, but I only gave him 2 words. Sign the papers. That was it. Back at work, everything shifted overnight. Mike said he hadn't seen the crew this light-hearted in years. Guys were cracking jokes, the site buzzed with energy, and projects started flying ahead of schedule. Clients noticed too. Without Tyler's mess dragging us down, the whole operation finally ran like clockwork. And in less than 48 hours, his exit would be official for a single $1. Jake, of course, was already planning his legendary dollar party. And when the big day arrived, it felt like the universe finally balanced the scales. Tyler signed over his share of the company for $1. Just one. Jake took that $1, had it framed, and handed it to me like a trophy. It hangs in my office now, a daily reminder that the best revenge doesn't come from swinging back. It comes from winning. Tyler looked wrecked, haggard, like the weight of 10 years had dropped on his shoulders all at once. Jessica didn't even bother showing up. Last I heard, she tucked herself back into her parents' house, broke, pregnant, and staring down her own pile of charges. Meanwhile, I felt something I hadn't in months. Freedom. My business was thriving. My team proud. New contracts rolling in every week. 6 months earlier, I thought I was about to marry the love of my life and build an empire with my best friend. The truth? I was about to marry a gold digger and go into business with a thief. And the moment they tried to destroy me, they ended up destroying themselves instead. At the signing table, Tyler's lawyer tried every angle. Pleading, bargaining, threatening. None of it mattered. My attorney kept pointing to the mountain of evidence. Tyler's criminal charges, the $31,000 he siphoned off, the restitution he still owed. The deal was clean. Simple. Sign it all away for $1, or I'd bury him deeper in lawsuits than he could ever crawl out of. He signed. Jake leaned across the table, grinning ear to ear, and delivered the kill shot. Congrats, man. You just set the record for the most expensive affair in Colorado history. $200,000 in a business. Gone. Hope it was worth it. Tyler's face didn't move, but we laughed. And then karma twisted the knife. Jessica's parents, already suspicious, hired a private investigator. What they uncovered shattered everything. She wasn't just sneaking around with Tyler. She had at least 2 other men on the side, including wealthy clients she met through real estate. And the pregnancy? The timeline didn't even match Tyler at all. The baby was from before he and I ever went into business together. Her parents were furious. They called me directly to apologize, cut her off financially, and demanded she return the engagement ring. A $22,000 ring. They even called it stolen property. I didn't waste a second. Sold it, bought new equipment for the company, and poured it back into the business that was finally mine alone. Tyler, on the other hand, tried to rebuild, told people he was starting his own construction company. But in this line of work, word spreads faster than wildfire. 3 different competitors called me for references. I sent them everything: police reports, the signed $1 buyout agreement, the proof of theft. That was it. Tyler's career in Colorado was over before it even began. Meanwhile, my company took off like never before. 2 massive commercial contracts worth more than $3 million. 3 new guys on payroll. Booked solid through the next year. And for the first time in my life, I was staring down a personal income north of $400,000. All without the weight of Tyler's lies and empty promises. Jessica tried texting me again. A long message about lessons learned, wanting to make things right, begging for another chance. I didn't hesitate. Replied with 5 words. New phone. Who is this? Jake nearly fell out of his chair laughing when he read it. Jessica, meanwhile, spiraled. Her real estate license? suspended, after an ethics complaint exposed her chasing married men using client information. One wealthy man's wife sued her and walked away with $75,000 in damages. Bankruptcy followed, but that judgment didn't vanish. Then came the worst blow of all, child services stepping in after she left her newborn alone to go out partying. Tyler wasn't doing better. No job, no income, living with his grandmother in Nebraska, buried in debt, telling anyone who would listen that he'd been wronged. Meanwhile, I was buying a new truck, putting in an offer on a house with real shop space, and planning a trip to Hawaii. My crew even threw me a party when we smashed our revenue goals. Mike raised his glass and said, "Here's to John, for turning betrayal into opportunity." I felt that one, because he was right. 6 months ago, my life looked shattered. Now, I see it clearly. They did me the biggest favor of all by revealing who they really were before I made the mistake of tying myself to them forever. But the story didn't even end there, because after hitting rock bottom, Tyler and Jessica, unbelievably, came crawling back. Together, they showed up with what they called a business proposition. Tyler couldn't find work anywhere. Jessica was drowning in lawsuits and debts. And their grand idea? That I would save them, pay off Jessica's legal troubles, buy Tyler a truck, split my company profits 50-50. They painted it like a chance at redemption, a family reunion, a new beginning. I let them talk. 20 minutes of rehearsed lines, fake sincerity, desperate pitches. Then I leaned forward and spelled it out. "So, just to be clear, you want me to bankroll 2 people who lied, cheated, stole from me, and tried to burn down everything I built." They stammered, backpedaled, begged for second chances. That's when I gave them the line, Jake, and I had practiced. I said, "You know what? I am going to help you." For 2 whole seconds, their faces lit up. Then I finished. "I'm helping you by saying no, because the best thing I can do for you is to make sure you never get the chance to screw me over again." And that was it. The final nail. Jake almost doubled over trying not to laugh. We walked out, leaving them sitting there, broken, desperate, still stunned at how their brilliant little scheme had completely crumbled. And the wild part? For a moment, they actually believed I was giving them a second chance. I let that hope hang in the air just long enough before I dropped it. "I am going to help you," I said. Their eyes lit up. Then I finished. "I'm going to help you learn the hardest lesson of all. Actions have consequences. You burned every bridge, destroyed every relationship, and lost every opportunity, all by your own choices. The help you need isn't money, and it sure isn't a job. The help you need is finally facing the mess you created and learning to live with it." Tyler's voice cracked when he asked, "What does that mean?" I looked him dead in the eye. "It means get out of my office. And don't ever contact me again." Jake leaned in with his usual blunt humor and tossed in, "And maybe next time, don't crap where you eat." That was it. 2 grown adults in their late 20s walked out in tears, finally realizing that in the real world, there are no do-overs when you burn people the way they did. For about 30 seconds, I almost felt sorry for them. But then the memories came back, the lies, the theft, the betrayal, and that sympathy disappeared fast. Days later, Jessica sent me a desperate text. "Please reconsider. I'm about to lose custody of my daughter." I replied, "You should have thought about that before you chose lies and manipulation. Not my problem." Tyler wasn't far behind. "I'm about to be homeless. My grandma can't support me anymore." My answer? Good. Maybe sleeping on the street will finally teach you not to steal from people who had your back. Meanwhile, my world kept climbing higher. My business landed a $4, $2 million casino renovation in Nevada. I opened a second office, hired 12 new people. Life couldn't have been better. Through the grapevine, I heard Tyler's grandmother pass away, left the house of his cousin, not him. Even his own family couldn't stomach him anymore. Jessica? She lost custody of her daughter to her parents and now faces fraud charges for trying to hide assets while collecting welfare. They thought they were clever, thought they could cheat, steal, and lie their way to the top. But all they really did was hand me the greatest gift of all. They revealed exactly who they were before I made the mistake of marrying Jessica or giving Tyler more power in my business. Now, at 31, I'm debt-free, running a booming company, and seeing a woman who's nothing like Jessica, kind, grounded, real. My life is better than it's ever been. As for Tyler and Jessica, they are left to wrestle with the chaos they created. And that's the thing about karma. You don't always have to lift a finger. Sometimes justice is simply building your own success, while the people who tried to destroy you collapse under the weight of their own stupidity.